Hey guys, so I want to clear up any confusion that you may have regarding Vinyasa. So by Vinyasa, I mean the down dog, plank, Chaturanga, up dog, back to down dog. There's usually a lot of them if you're taking any type of yoga flow, power yoga, just about anything besides Bikram, because you get on your hands and you do upper body. These are really important to make sure you're doing correctly since you are doing them repetitively. You want to protect yourself from injury in your shoulders and your neck. And believe it or not, a lot of that starts in your hands. So the first part I want to go over is the down dog. So if you look at your hands, you have arches in your hand. You have a longitudinal, a proximal, and a distal. Okay? So these arches, when they're engaged, create like this little dip in the center of the palm, so that if you put your hand down, you could fit like a marble under there. This is what keeps, believe it or not, your shoulders and your neck safe. So your hands translate to shoulders and your feet translate to pelvis. And the bottom of any building, right, its foundation is the most important part, because without it, you can't build up. So these are your ground zero, and these are the things that are the most important in your practice. So when you set your down dog hands, you want to, I always do this the first time, and then after that, my body usually remembers it. But in the beginning, you may have to remind yourself repeatedly through your practice. You'll take a look at your hands and go, oh, my hands are clawing. Oh, they're lifting up. I'm starting to sink outside. And that'll tell you, oh, yeah, I need to do those down dog hands and use my arms. So the tendency is that people go into down dog and they kind of just hang out, and they're just resting really in their shoulders. And we don't want to rest in the shoulders, we want to use our hands, the muscles in the hands. And we also want to use the arms, the muscles in the arms, to help support the shoulders, because they're not meant to take all of your body weight all of the time. So you spread the fingers wide, just push down. So these are your finger pads. These are your fingertips, okay? Spread the fingers wide. Put just your first finger pad down, just the first pad. Add the middle, the ring, pinky. First, middle, ring, pinky. Claw your fingertips a little bit. Push your arms forward. Push forward, 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 and then bring the heel of the hand down. So the weight will be evenly distributed. It's not that you still have a lot of weight in the heel of your hand, but the problem is that if you don't think about pushing the weight forward, all of the weight goes to the heel of the hand. So if you look down at your hands and they're doing this, you know you're not using your arms. You need to push forward and wrap in. From there, you tuck the toes and lift up and back to down dog. Another thing that people say in down dog is that when you do your vinyasa, you shouldn't have to adjust your feet back and forth. But I don't agree to that, because everybody's body is different, and you might need to adjust to get in the proper position. And if you need to adjust, it's better to be in the proper position than to not adjust just to say you did and then be kind of wonky. So in your down dog, you can bend the knees. The heels can be lifted off the ground, but you don't want to do this just to get the heels and the leg down and the leg straight. If that happens, you know you're one of these people that has to bend the knees, lift the sitting bones up, draw the shoulders back. Now, if you're really flexible like me, you can draw the shoulders down too much and do this thing where you sink, splay. So you want to think about hugging in a little bit and lengthening back. Whereas people that are really puffy and rounded and tight in their shoulders, they have to think melt, melt, melt back. So it's really hard when you go to a class or when you do these things on here and you listen, and you're listening to the cues. One cue for everybody is so challenging for a yoga teacher, because you have to every body is going to be different and have to do different things. So if you're tighter in your shoulders, you melt. If you're really hypermobile like me, you have to kind of wrap in and push forward. Okay? All right. So again, heels can be up, knees can be bent. It's more about lengthening the backs of the legs. So take a look again, because I want you to understand this. That way you can implement it into all of your leg stretching, because it's translatable. If you are in down dog, right, and you want to get your legs straight, because that means you're stretching them, look at the backs of the legs really closely, right here. When I bend my knees and lift my tail up. Look at them lengthen. Look at them elongate. So we think that straight legs means a better stretch, but really, that depends on the person. If you're flexible, yes, straighten the legs as long as the sit bones stay up as the heels go down. But if you're still working on lengthening the backs of the legs, a bent knee is gonna work better for you. And remember, it's not about being in Cirque du Soleil, it's not about becoming Iron Man in here, it's about finding balance for your body today, okay? So try not to get so wrapped up in what it looks like, and really focus more on what it feels like. You need an image so that you know what to go towards, but it doesn't mean it's the goal. It doesn't mean it's the destination. It means that it's a drishti, a point to look at, right? Because you're working towards it. Okay, plank. So plank in yoga is different than a lot of other planks. It's more lifted. Not to confuse lifted with the butt being up. So this is the tendency, whenever we say to yogis that are like sinking down like this, we say, you gotta wrap in and lift up, they do this. Now, you don't want the butt being up high either, because, or like this even, right? You wanna tuck slightly, wrap in, shift forward, zip up the quads. Because a plank actually means a four-limb staff. In Sanskrit, it's upward plank, upward Chaturanga Dandasana to lower Chaturanga Dandasana. It's a straight line, okay? So ladies that have a challenge with the plank and the Chaturanga, more often than not are not using their legs. It's a full body integration. So if you're having a really hard time, consider firing up the legs more. You are pushing down away from the arms, the shoulders are kind of pronating, you're wrapping your ribs in, and you're firing up the legs. From there, you want to shift forward slightly. Come down halfway, Chaturanga. Now, in Chaturanga, the elbows are in and the shoulders point forward. If the shoulders go down, it's an indication that you're going too far for your body. You oftentimes hear teachers cue, come down halfway, Chaturanga. That's all shades of gray. It's give or take. You may be halfway down, you may have to stay above, you may be able to go lower. It's about the shoulders pointing forward. So what tends to happen is people that are still building strength, they start to come down here and then this happens, they dump down. And their shoulders end up pointing towards the floor. In that case, you're better off stopping before the dump starts to happen and holding and shaking, putting your knees down and then coming through. For really strong and flexible shoulders, we can come down all the way and the shoulders stay pointing forward, and that's fine, as long as you can keep the shoulders pointing forward. Something major that always happens in the plank to Chaturanga is in plank they're fine, they go to Chaturanga and they create a hammock. No hammocks in a Chaturanga. Again, it's one straight line, a staff. So you're in plank, they start to come down and then sag. Wrap in, lift the knees and thighs up, keep it wrapped in, knees and thighs lift up. Okay? Otherwise, just drop the knees on the floor. Now, what if you have to drop your knees on the floor and you want to get stronger? So there's a way to do it to get stronger, and there's a way to do it to stay restorative. Restorative might mean you're feeling really fatigued that day, maybe you're on your cycle, maybe you're pregnant, maybe you feel off, whatever it is, and you're gonna take it nice and easy, then yeah, you drop the knees down, work the tail up, chest and chin down, and do like a little scoop through. That's a great way to keep it nice and soft if that's what you need on a healing day. But if you're looking to drop the knees and do a Chaturanga in order to get stronger to one day do the Chaturanga, you want to instead wrap the ribs in, neutralize the tail, shift it forward, come down halfway, keeping a straight spine, and back up. Up dog, down dog. That way, you start to get stronger and eventually can lift the legs up and do the Chaturanga. And that's if you're working towards it. The next action is what people are always asking about, is what am I doing in the transition from up dog to down dog? Well, there's a few things. So So people always say, are we bringing the knees down, tucking the toes, or you doing that thing? Yes, all of it. It depends on the day. So if you need to, down dog, plank, drop the knees, take it through, up dog, tuck your toes under, the knees are on the floor, press it back, down dog. That's a nice, soft way to work your way through the poses till you get stronger, or if you are having a day where you're trying to take it easier on yourself. You should all have those days. Another way to do it is plank, chaturanga. Come onto the tops of your feet, up dog, knees never touch, press it back, down dog. In order to do that, you have to have a strong core so that you don't crush your toes. So you're really firing up the quadriceps and the abdominals. Remember, your core goes from your knees to your neck. It's like a chest press. You're pushing down, wrapping in deep abdominal crunch, lifting up the knees and thighs, and then rolling on the feet. One way to work yourself up to that is to do 1 foot at a time. So you could be in down dog, come forward to plank, bend the elbows, chaturanga, come onto the top of 1 foot, top of the second foot, and then take it through up dog. Start to lift up, roll on the top of 1 foot, then the next foot, down dog. So that will eventually take you through the transitions. Lastly is the up dog. It shouldn't be last, but that's the order we're in. You want to make sure that your lower back is protected. Interestingly enough, when people are tight in their lower back, they start to push forward their shoulders, they go up towards their ears. You don't have to get your arms straight. In fact, the elbows should be soft anyway. So the elbows are always a little bit soft, if not bent, okay? So when you do your up dog, here's lifted cobra, right? The elbows are bent, the shoulders are rolled back and down. We're good here, right? And then all of a sudden up dog happens and people go like this. Because they lift their thighs, their back is avoiding it, the shoulders are pushing forward, they're coming up towards their ears. So if that starts to happen, bend the elbows, roll the shoulders back, keep the elbows bent, and start to lift the thighs. That's a good place to be. Or don't lift the thighs yet if this starts to happen, because you're not doing the pose, okay? So that's basically your vinyasa in a nutshell. Keeping you nice and safe, making sure that your shoulders and your neck are supported, that you're doing your down dog in a way that supports you, that you're doing your planks in a way that keeps you strong. Watch the video, break it down, pose by pose, put it all together. Good luck, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Please leave me your questions and comments, and I'm happy to answer back. Reach out to me. I'm here to support you in your journey. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Peace.